Greetings. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday if you're listening on this Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday in South Florida. And welcome to the Purple Portal. My Purple Portal and your Purple Portal. I would love to share this hour with you. This is your host, the somewhat reluctant mystic, Elaine Bartlett, the Wanderer and the Wonderer. And I bring you thoughts and ideas and insights to those of you who are authentically asking for greater understanding and for a possible larger personal journey to your inner freedom. So this hour is a cosmic hour. It's really devoted to everything cosmic. I've been in the cosmic line of thinking for probably about 45 years now, which is great because I was only 1 year old when I started it, so there you have it. But that's what a seeker does, a wanderer. As a matter of fact, this year, in this year of closings and endings, that's what 2016 is all about, ending anything that you've ever been doing that's now finished. Well, your host here has given up seeking, and I can't tell you how freeing that is. Finally, after years of looking at pretty much the same material from one end of the spectrum to the other, there is nothing to seek. What you seek is already within you. So it's kind of a very peculiar dropping of everything, and it's a lightening up, and if nothing else, you actually feel as if you've lost 20 pounds, and your whole demeanor is lighter. Your eyes are brighter. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to give up sweets for, let's say, a 3-day window. You actually see more clearly. You actually, from the sweets, you had like a sugar haze. Well, I believe when we're still seeking, we have a seeking haze. So it is so magical to give up. There's no religion, there's no creed, there's no belief system. You don't have to look for the next guru. You don't have to climb the next mountain. You don't have to purge. You don't have to become a vegetarian. You don't have to become vegan. It is so freeing that perhaps as we share our time together, some of it will magically help you to get to the same point of view. I would wish nothing greater for anyone. So today, because this is a show that we're sharing, it's a sharing show, I invite you to call in. I'm in the studio today, and so you're free to call in. And first you will connect with Jeff, and then you'll be right plugged into me. And that number is 321-806-3159. Once again, it's 321-806-3159. So I do hope you'll take advantage of that. And if you would like to email me at some point with any of your questions or wonderings or inquiries, you could do that on the email site that I've developed just for this particular radio station and my listeners, and that is purpleportal777 at gmail.com. Purple, as in the color, portal 777 at gmail.com. I'd also love you to go check out my website, Higher Consciousness, and that's an unusual spelling of higher. It's HIERConsciousness.com, higherconsciousness.com. So we sure have enough to talk about today, although I was having a private consultation with me on the phone this morning, and I was sharing with her the importance of staying so present that you really don't know what you're going to speak about in the next moment. Most people have lost that completely, but it's really quite refreshing. So I kind of joked with her and said, I have no idea what I'll be speaking about on the radio today. And she thankfully does listen and kind of encouraged me to stay right on track with the not knowing. So it's kind of fun to be in the present moment. And the fun is actually enhanced by the fact that you become so aware of your presence and so alert that it's pretty neat. You know, oftentimes you've been in a conversation and someone's saying something, you're really not listening. You're 3 steps ahead of them as to what you think you're going to answer them. That's one of the things you could really give up in this last month of 2016, this vibration of bye-bye, let's get over this stuff. Wouldn't that be great to stay so present in a conversation that you're actually with the person? That'd be neat. I love that thought. So we have a lot of things going on here today, actually in the cosmos, but that's kind of today too. Neptune, good old Neptune, which is the planet that brings in mysticism, number one. It brings in the concept of spirit, the ill-fated concept connected with spirit known as religions, and it brings in every sort of, if you will, high and holy condition. On the downside, it brings just the opposite. It brings deception, lack of clarity. It brings mysticism run amok. It brings in governments and religions that are no longer honorable. And so, it also brings in alcohol and drugs. It brings in not only medicine used on the high side, medicine used on the very low and darkest side. So it's a very interesting thing that Neptune, which has been in Pisces for a long time now, and it's been what we call retrograde. Retrograde means it would appear to be going backward in the skies, but it's actually just an appearance. Well, it headed into its retrograde situation on June 12th of this year. And this past Saturday, it actually went direct, meaning it started its forward motion. And it will be going forward now for many, many months. And somewhere in the first 10 days of March in 2017, the energies of Neptune will be a lot crisper, a lot more usable for you. My sense is a lot has to be kind of cleared out between now and March about all the deceptions and the misappropriation of monies, your money, your tax money. Where's some of that going? Why is that simply disappearing from the Pentagon over and over again? What are these black holes that they talk about? So Neptune has been responsible, actually, for kind of hiding some of that stuff, along with its good friend Pluto, which now the dilemma is, they say Pluto's not a planet. Well, okay, fine. According to the whole infrastructure of astrology, we still count on that energy field as a directive in what we're all about. So I'm counting on greater clarity now that Neptune has gone direct, greater sense of being forthright, self-honesty. You can't be honest with someone else if you're not honest with yourself. And I don't know about you, but I see a lot of dishonesty within the person themselves. There should be a greater sense of authenticity. And won't it be wonderful when I say to you, yes, and my yes is authentic, or I say no, and that is authentic? What a world. Neptune also kind of rules dreamland and never, never land. Some people this month, now remember, we're still under the, well, actually, that's not true. We've just stepped out of the sign of Scorpio, death and dying. So many people indeed have left. But since the year is devoted to shedding and leavings, during the next 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, there will still be many leavings. This Neptune energy, which is now sweeping into a more forceful and forward mode, is going to bring a healing from old emotional wounds. Now, that's something that, as I watch the world, people are running so fast and so furiously away from themselves and denying their wound that they're not aware, or they're too afraid to invest themselves in embracing the wounds and loving them back into a part of themselves. What part of you is so wounded that you can't actually embrace it, and therefore you actually can't function as a whole human being? I'm going to talk more about wounds in just a moment, but I want to give you some of the other things that Neptune is going to bring forward here. The strong possibility of, first of all, making addictions visible, and then healing addictions. And I don't care if your addiction is to potato chips or crack cocaine, everything can be looked at. If your addiction is to violence, if your addiction is to theft, if your addiction is to hatred, there's habit patterns that have sunk in and never been quite properly addressed. Usually, there's a very good reason for these patterns. If you look deeply enough, and if you can love yourself enough, and perhaps love the person you've made judgment about enough, you'll see that these patterns or these addictions, they can be dropped. Everything that's hidden, because Neptune is in charge of all things hidden. So, for example, if you doubt who your father was, that may come up at the Thanksgiving dinner table. You'll never know. So what's ever been hidden, either by others for you, or you within yourself. And you will now just simply, without a whole lot of fuss and muss, bring it up. Give it a big hug. Spend a few days hugging it. Then it's done. You've integrated it back into yourself. And it's almost as if it's something called soul recovery. You've recovered your spirit. I think there's parts of us hanging out in lots of different dimensions other than planet Earth. And what a concept to walk around this particular planet in our natural state of wholeness and perfection. This is the cycle. Now, I think it'll be very intense. My gut feeling is it's going to be intense from this past Saturday right on through the spring equinox, where there can actually be a recovery from the psychic wounding of war. And I live in a pocket down in South Florida where I'm very aware that many people, they've been physically damaged by war and certainly mentally damaged, but psychically damaged is a whole other ballgame. And that psychic damage is deeper than, God forbid, they've lost a leg or an arm or something. The psychic damage permeates every cell of their body. So as they can